People, hello, how are we? Hopefully, we're all doing well. I'm Tom. We saw on Saturday night Benavidez versus Morrell. A fight that I actually said in it, roll the clip. As we saw with, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, when you do step up, sometimes you see levels. And you never know, we might be in for levels. Do you know what I mean, with this fight? I actually said, as you heard then, as we saw with Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, this is meant to be a 50-50 fight, but we might go on and see that actually there were levels to this game. And I think to some extent we did see that. I think, look, it wasn't to the same extent as in Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, but I think we did see that. I think we certainly saw elements of the experience that Benavidez has carrying him through. The game plan Morrell set out wasn't good enough, probably because of a lack of experience. Although I also said that even though I actually think Morrell's perhaps a better boxer with harder one-punch power, Benavidez would do better. And as I say, I think that's what we saw. Morrell started the fight better. For the first 3 or 4 rounds, he was outboxing Benavidez. And then his game plan changed. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what happened, but he decided to stand there and try to trade off a bit with Morrell, which is never going to end well. And it meant that Benavidez just took over from Morrell when he stopped moving, when he stopped trying to box. Benavidez was able to take over. And, look, as the fight went on, Morrell got back into it a little bit towards the end. He got that sort of flash knockdown on Benavidez. But Benavidez was never really hurt, right? Benavidez was never in any trouble from that knockdown. It was just a flash knockdown, boxing and moving, got clipped. And as I say, Morrell's got that one-punch power. And it hurt, and it put Benavidez down. But he was never in any serious trouble. And then he goes and gets that point deduction right after, which really just zapped any momentum Morrell was starting to regain, which was a shame. And so what it meant was Benavidez perhaps won. Let's take nothing away. What was probably the fight of the year so far. That was a fantastic fight. I think it was. I really do think it was. It was a great fight to watch. And I think Benavidez is a problem for anyone. And I think Morrell will be a problem for anyone. But as it stands, Benavidez won what was perhaps the best fight of the year so far. 8 rounds to 4 maybe. There or thereabouts. 7-5, something like that. But Benavidez won. That's the fact of the matter. And it sort of went kind of how I thought it would. What it's meant, though, is the power of Benavidez. And I'm seeing this slightly, on social media. The power of Benavidez is being questioned. And I think perhaps it is slightly overrated. I do think the power of Benavidez perhaps is slightly overrated. And that's why I said I think Morrell's got more one-punch power. I think from one punch, Morrell's got more power. Benavidez has more of that power that Beterbiev has, which is that I'm going to smother you. I'm going to absolutely walk you down and pressure you non-stop for the entire fight. And I'm going to get to you. And that's what Beterbiev got. I think Benavidez has a similar sort of power. And what we're saying is, as he steps up the levels, as he's gone up the weight class, you've got to also remember, he was a 175 guy fighting down at 168. Now he's fighting at his weight class. And as we're seeing that, what we're starting to see is people can withstand that power a little bit better. But I think it's harsh to say that it was wildly overrated, which is what I'm seeing from some of the people out there. And winning this fight, now means that he is mandatory for the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I think the reality of, well, actually, no, it maybe. I think it depends on the outcome of that fight, right? I think, look, if Beterbiev wins again, then Beterbiev should fight him. But do I think he beat Beterbiev? No. I think Beterbiev will get to him. I think Beterbiev will fight how he normally fights, walk him down, smother him, put his... What we're going to end up with is a trading match. You're going to end up with... You're going to stand there and trade blows. And Beterbiev's going to win that. because Beterbiev has that's what he's got his bread and butter off of, and I think he'd eventually break down Benavidez and beat him. If Bivol wins, well, I actually think if Bivol wins, there'll be a trilogy. I think if Bivol beats Beterbiev, there'll be a trilogy, there'll be a third fight. But hypothetically, if there isn't a third fight, if Bivol fights Benavidez, how do I see that going? Yeah, I think Bivol wins. I think Bivol will go in there and do what Morrell should have done, which is going to have a good game plan. He's got the experience to execute the game plan and just outbox him, because Bivol's a better boxer, right? So what else for him, right? I think he might fight Beterbiev or Bivol, not next, but the fight after that. So next, well, he's not going on to 168. He's not going on to 168. He'd only go on to 168 to fight Canelo. He's actually said that he wouldn't even do that. So he's not going back down to 168. That's not going to happen. So for that reason, I just don't think he's going to fight Canelo. I don't think Canelo will fight Benavidez. Could he beat Benavidez? Yeah, probably. Do I think he would? I mean, I'd probably slightly favour Benavidez. I just think Canelo's on the slide. You know, fair enough. So I'd probably slightly favour Benavidez, but I don't think we'll have that fight. We haven't seen it yet, so I don't think we ever will. And I think we've seen why. I think we've seen why Canelo has avoided Benavidez. I think that fight has shown me why Canelo avoided Benavidez, because he's a problem for anyone. That's what, that's the truth of it. And what next for Morrell? Well, I think what we saw was Morrell lacked that experience. He just, unfortunately, lacked that experience to be able to go in there with the likes of Benavidez, which is what I said. I think that the experience Benavidez has is going to be pivotal here. And I think that's ultimately what we saw. If I'm him, maybe look at the Buatsi, Callum Smith loser. I mean, even winner. I mean, there's an option. I think Buatsi will beat Smith. So then Buatsi's maybe going to fight Benavidez or Yard. So if I'm Morrell, maybe look at fighting Yard after he beats Lyndon Arthur. He could fight Yard after Lyndon Arthur. He could fight the loser of Smith Buatsi, or try and fight the winner. I think what he needs to do really is just take a step, rebuild a bit, get some more experience, and then come back stronger. That's my thoughts, people. You let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know YouTube works, people. Peace.